What did you have the best time doing in your childhood?
What did I have the best time doing?
Yeah.
It's quite easy. Running around in the woods. Where we lived, there were acres and acres of forest. And we owned 16 acres, but then that was contingent on thousands of wooded acres. And the best part of it is because there were no grown-ups around. Camping, all the mischief that, kids get into, all of those things. We did all of that stuff.
What values did your parents start to teach you?
Values,
Yeah.
but not necessarily succeeded at.
Not succeeded at. What
Okay.
did they try to?
Number one, religious piety, as defined by the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod or the Southern Baptist Church, neither of which managed to take hold. Although, I will say this, it did impress upon me the power these things have over people. You wouldn't believe how powerful these things are. But I ended up rejecting that wholesale, as did my older brother, by the time I was 12 or 13 years old. Value number two, honesty. But the best way to teach a child to be honest is not to punish him too hard when he gets caught for something. I noticed that the kids who always said, it's always better to tell the truth, they were the ones that really weren't going to get it as badly as my brother and I were going to get it. Also, finally, thrift. Don't spend money that you don't have. Don't buy anything on credit if you can avoid it. Don't buy anything on time. In other words, monthly payments if you can at all avoid it. And that, they succeeded admirably in me because I tend to be on the thrifty side.
Okay. What did you want to be when you would grow up?
Well, I hate to say this, but the truth of the matter is, most of the time, I wanted to be a teacher. And the assumption is that's what I was going to be. When other kids wanted to be race car drivers, I wanted to be a teacher. And I cannot just, I wanted to be a teacher. And the assumption is that's what I was going to be. When other kids wanted to be race car drivers, I wanted to be a teacher. And I cannot justify that in a million years. I just, like people say, what made you decide to become a teacher? And, well, that's my default. At various times in my life, I thought about being some absurd profession, like a wandering musician. I found out there weren't anymore. I think when I was very small, I wanted to be a knight. And then I think some older boy bathed me in the brilliant light of truth about my prospects there. I wanted to be a psychiatrist, I thought at one point. God knows why I would have wanted that.
Can you define the American dream just in general and how it relates or related to your values?
Well, as I was just saying not too long ago, it's interesting to me how other countries don't seem to have the concept. The Scottish dream, the Azerbaijani dream. Are we living the Azerbaijani dream? What is that? This is a quintessentially American concept. And it ultimately leads to people feeling like they must be failures if they don't obtain their dream. That's the price you pay for being very non-fatalistic about your prospects in life depending on your birth, that if you don't get somewhere great, that you're therefore inadequate, you're a failure. I think for most Americans, the American dream is through sheer ambition and perseverance, being able to get in life wherever you want to get in life. I think that's what it's supposed to be. But I would like to define that. No, that's not my sense of the American dream. You want my sense?
Later on.
Okay.
Do you think that you can achieve the American dream? Can you get there and can you be living it?
As I define it, as I've decided to define it, yes, but it's hard work. And it's not about becoming a great teacher or advancing in the academic hierarchy here. One day,
Can you get there and can you be living it?
as I define it, as I've decided to define it, yes, but it's hard work. And it's not about becoming a great teacher or advancing in the academic hierarchy here. One day even becoming an administrator. Wait, who's going to see this?
We're just gonna take clips of it.
Okay.
How far are you willing to go to achieve the American dream?
How far?
Yeah.
Well, like, would I be willing to kill somebody?
Would you?
To what extent? And we still haven't defined what I think of as the American dream in the first place. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to answer that. Pretty far. How's that? Is that a good answer?
All right.
At least 38 meters.
Are you currently living your definition of the American dream?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, if this is a country where you can really aspire to be anything you want, then I will aspire for the American dream to be as follows. You must find your true will in life. And once you find your true will, as long as you are pursuing it, whether or not you obtain something or not, you feel satisfaction. Okay? The problem is this: most people don't know what their true will is. They think they do, and they have been surrounded by legions of people in the form of teachers, college professors, college advisors, advertisers, authority figures, all, ready to tell them what their true will is supposed to be. But most people never really discover it because they either think that they have it already, and if they live slightly unsatisfying lives, well, that's just the way life is. But they're afraid to find their true will because it requires that you take chances, that you step off the beaten path.
What would your parents have thought of the American dream you're living?
My parents?
Yeah.
Well, my father's still alive, and he is pleased to see that his son is pursuing venues and activities that are outside of mainstream society. He thinks it's amusing that his son is kind of a, odd duck anyway, but he's glad to see me, nutty but happy, although his concept of the American dream is nothing like mine. He remembers the Depression. For him, the American dream is, job security and being able to provide for your family. And, I don't even have any children. It's not that I know of. And, no, I don't have any children. And I'm Generation X. Our sense of expectations was very different from his and from the baby boomers.
What do you think the limits are on the American dream, if there are any?
Well, this gets back to the question of, most Americans see the American dream as being able to realize or to pursue anything you want. Then there's only one limit on it, and that's at what point you're transgressing on other people's rights. I'm very libertarian about things in that way, you know. But it is not easy to say when you're transgressing on people's rights. You know, all this stuff now about transgenderism. To me, and you know, what are your obligations in terms of providing goods or services? That is not, those questions aren't simple questions, those are complicated questions, you know. Whose rights are being trampled on if you have laws about who can use what bathroom? And the cost of trampling on some people's rights is empowering others and vice versa. I don't know how I got on that tangent. I'm very undecided about that whole question. I think it's a fascinating question and it deserves study. But you can do what you want so long as you're not injuring someone else is my operating principle. And that applies both to the American dream and the Azerbaijani dream.
All right. Thank you for the time in the interview. That's going to be everything except for one bonus question, which we decided would be, is Mr. Burke the cause of anyone's American dream ever?
Is that rolling?
Yes. We'll cut it out. We're only pretty much going to paste pictures that are snapshots from this. So,
all right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, then you should cut it right after I say, is that rolling?
Yeah.
And then that will, you know, address.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.